Hey everybody, it's Ryan here from MavLab, and today we're going to continue our series on blacking out the Ford Maverick that we have here. Today we're going to be focusing on this front part of the grille right here where it's chrome or silver. It's not quite a chrome because it's not super shiny, it's more just silver. I think I'd like it better if it was black, so today we're going to do that. We're just going to be using a simple ratchet and a couple different sockets and some plasti dip here. I've used plasti dip before on vehicles, and the best thing about it is that it's removable. So if you want to resell your vehicle and you don't want the black to be on there anymore, or maybe you just didn't like the way it turned out, you can go ahead and just peel it off and start on over. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to remove this silver piece off the grille here, and we'll get it prepped and I'll paint it up. So the first thing that we're going to want to do here is go ahead and pop the hood. We're going to pull this 2 times. And we'll come back over here and just lift up. And once we get inside here, we're going to prop it up with our hood prop. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is there's 4 bolts we want to find. So there's one right here, one here, one here, and also one over here. We also have these little tabs we need to make note of as well. We'll need to push those down as well to get the front off. We don't have to do anything under the wheels or anything, under the wheel wells. Everything that we're going to be touching is going to be right here. In a second, we'll also need to take out these bolts as well, but we'll start with these 4, which are going to be our 10mm bolts. All right, next we're gonna gently pull this out here. So we wanna make sure these tabs are pushed down while we're pulling as well, so it doesn't try to pull out this part of the radiator. But basically we're just gonna pull this forward, and if we want to, we can even put like a pry bar in between here because there's just some clips that are holding this into place. And once we pull back this, those will pop out as well. So let's go ahead and do that.
So when I was doing this, I wasn't talking about what I was actually doing, so I thought I'd fill it in post. What I'm actually doing here is I'm pushing the ratchet down on that clip to release it. That way I can pull the trim away from the radiator.
Alrighty, so now that we got those pulled out, this can kind of come like this, and we're going to take out these 5 bolts right here in order to get to this gray part of the grille. And these bolts right here, these are 7mm, in case you were wondering. So let's go ahead and take these out. So you can't really see it because this piece of plastic might be in the way, but we have 2 more 7mm bolts we need to take out. This one, and on this side as well. This one and this one. So let's go ahead and do that as well. Alrighty, we got those out. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 more that we got to take out. Alrighty, and then above that, there's also 3 more that you might miss at the very top here. So a lot of screws to take out. Alrighty, then you should be able to take out this piece right here. And it goes in, back in the vehicle, just like this. So I'm gonna keep it this direction just so I can make sure I put it back correctly. Now we can see all of the plastic clips holding in this silver part up front. We just need to undo those and take it out. Okay, and there we go. Now this Ford emblem is glued in, so it's probably going to be easier to just mask that off when we go to paint this. So let's go ahead and prep this now. Okay, so from here, the first thing we want to do before we paint it is we're actually going to prep it. So I'm going to go inside, grab some microfiber cloths, clean this up a little bit, and then we'll lay down some paper, that way we don't spray the ground. Alrighty, so I got all this laid out here. I got my wet rag with some soap and water on it, and we're just gonna clean this up real quick. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and dry it off a little bit now. It's pretty hot out here, so it should dry pretty quick as well, just in the heat, but water is the enemy to Plasti-Dip. And the reason we want this to be as smooth as possible and as clean as possible is simply because if we ever want to remove the Plasti-Dip, the smoother that it is underneath the Plasti-Dip, the easier it is coming off. So we also want to make sure we clean the Ford logo really good too. And you can mask that if you want. I actually don't have any masking tape right now, so we're not going to go ahead and do that. Because the way that Plasti-Dip works is these lines here will actually form a breaking point. We'll go over that with an X-Acto knife at the end as well. And then we can just peel that section up. And that also gives you a little demonstration of how the Plasti-Dip will work if we want to remove it as well. Alrighty. Now for this first layer, you really want to make sure it's just like a light coat. That way it sticks to it. We'll put on more coats and get deeper into it. It takes about 15 minutes for each coat to dry. So go inside, just grab a drink, and by the time you come back out, especially if it's warm, it should be ready to go. Alrighty, let's go ahead and do it. We'll call that good enough for our first coat. Still pretty splotchy, but we just want something that later coats can stick to. So we'll go and leave that to dry for a little bit, and then we'll come back and continue. All right, so we flipped it over here. We gave that first coat a dry. Now I want to do the other side. Still in the first coat, but we only got one side of it, so let's go ahead and hit this other side with its first coat. All right, we'll let that dry and then we'll flip it back over. Alrighty, so that first coat's pretty dry to the touch, so let's go ahead and we just flipped it over. We're gonna do our second coat, a little bit heavier. All right, and that'll take a little bit longer to dry, so we're gonna give it a little bit longer to rest. Alrighty, so we got it all finished painted. Let's go ahead and show you what to do about this center logo if you want to keep it. All right, so I'm gonna grab my X-Acto knife, and you can already see that the plastic dip didn't cover up these like little separations from the Ford logo to the rest of the logo. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna grab a piece here and start scratching it away. And we can see as we just pull it, we're uncovering the F and the Ford logo right now. There's a little bit that didn't come with it. We can just use the X-Acto knife for that. Okay, now while it is dry, it's not completely cured yet. It takes about an hour. So we're just gonna let it sit here for a little bit, and then we'll put it back on the truck and see how it looks. Like I said, and if we don't like it, we can always just peel the rest of the plastic dip off like we did with the lettering.
Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and do this as a voiceover for, putting the part back on the vehicle. There were a lot of people outside, and I didn't want to bother them by, speaking into a microphone and trying to do a couple different takes while they were all out there. So right here, I'm just making sure that I'm putting the front grille back on, making sure those clips latch back, and making sure it's all secure. Just making sure everything fits the way it's supposed to, at least in this front black part. And then here in a second, I'm also going to grab there's the radiator cover trim piece. So I'm going to grab that, slide that back on, and start putting in those screws. Now, I did count them afterwards. There were 16 different screws. So there were 5 in the top and then 11 in the bottom. So 3, 4, and then 4 on each side as well. Now this mod isn't really hard. It is kind of time consuming just because of all the screws that we have. But if you can deal with that and deal with the clips on the front grille and getting those off and back on was a breeze, but getting them off was pretty hard. This mod is super easy. So here's the finished result of the plasti dipped front grille. I think I like it a lot better than that silver that it had on there before. I like the blackout Ford logo as well, and I think I'll be keeping this mod as well. It matches the blackout mod I did on the rear where I 3D printed the Maverick lettering. I think it all ties together really well. So that brings us to here. Like I said earlier, I believe this is a pretty easy mod for anyone to do, as long as you can put in the time and have the patience to actually take out all 16 of those screws. Those screw into plastic as well, so I would also mention try not to torque them down too much so you don't break anything. I just kind of went until they kind of got tight. I didn't try to crank them down or anything to keep them secure. You don't really have to do that. The other thing I did in that kind of walk around video at the very end is I just made sure to push in the 2 sides because those clips are inside the headlights. So those had to be done afterwards. Thanks for watching this episode of MavLab. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for future videos on the Maverick.